Hello traders, this is Joanne with Succeed in Forex. Welcome to our Forex Market News broadcast for Friday, March the 14th, 2008. This has started out to be a wild and crazy Friday. First of all, my laptop decided to take a nervous breakdown this morning. This is the one I used to record our news broadcast on. Then I checked my news feed out of Switzerland. They haven't updated. So we have no news coming out of Switzerland today. We're going to be searching some other news feeds to bring us up to date as to what's going on in the market. So we will try to get through this broadcast as smoothly as possible. Well, everyone seems to be in quite a tither over the Bear Stearns announcement today. And the bond market surged in mid-morning trading today following the announcement by Bear Stearns that JP Morgan Chase and the New York Federal Reserve will provide funding for the embattled Wall Street firm. The need for liquidity assistance sent the skittish investors running towards fixed assets income and set the Dow down 200 points. Investors have shrugged off a benign inflation report and are selling their stocks this morning after Bear Stearns said that it is working with JP Morgan Chase and the Federal Reserve to deal with liquidity issues. Bear Stearns has been the subject of multiple market rumors regarding their liquidity. The Federal Reserve says it will continue to provide liquidity as necessary. So apparently the Bear Stearns announcement is another example of this policy. We have an update on the Eurozone summit. The UK Prime Minister Gordon Brown said today out from Brussels that the leaders are worried about foreign exchange volatility and have agreed to mention it in their final communique. Speaking after a two-day summit meeting of European Union leaders in Brussels, Brown said the currency market volatility is something that concerns people, adding that it was right that the subject be addressed in the summit's communique. This was an unusual step since finance ministers usually handle currency issues. The pound shrinks to record lows against the euro and a two-year low versus the yen. The pound sterling slumped to an all-time low versus the euro and a two-year low against the yen today during the New York session. This seems to also have been influenced by the Bear Stearns announcement. Inflation takes center stage as the Eurozone numbers rise to record highs. Inflation took center stage today with the key reading for the 15-nation Eurozone accelerating to new record highs in February. On the growth front, forecasts were lowered for French and Irish economies, and outside the Eurozone, the data remained light for this last day of the week. The euro hit records high against the pound and the dollar today. A report showed that the annual Eurozone inflation stood at 3.3% in February, revised up from 3.2% estimated earlier. The annual inflation was at 3.2% in January and 3.1% in December. The euro soared to a fresh all-time high against the dollar today. The euro reached 156.87 by 10 o'clock Eastern Time, up from a mid-morning low of 155.30. Traders mulled over reports this morning showing the U.S. consumer prices unexpectedly steady in February and the Michigan Consumer Sentiment Index coming in less than expected. Against the pound, the euro surged to a record high today. The euro climbed to 76.96 by 10 a.m. Eastern, advancing from 76.65 earlier in the morning. Against the yen, the euro lacked direction. The pair bounced between 157.36 and 156.08 throughout the morning, just above Thursday's monthly low. COMEX gold surges to a record high on the lower dollar. COMEX April gold futures have extended their contract high to 1,730 an ounce, and March has set a front-month record of 1,460 as the dollar falls. The flat CPI numbers will give the Fed more leeway to reduce interest rates further, which pressures the dollar. The dollar plummets against the loonie and gives back early gains. The dollar dramatically weakened against the loonie around 10 a.m. Eastern Time this morning, giving back its substantial gains from earlier in the session. The dollar dropped back to 98.60 after surging to 99.65 only a few hours before. The pound stays near yesterday's multi-month high against the dollar. The British sterling spiked higher against the U.S. dollar in the early New York session, as the Michigan Consumer Sentiment Index edged down to 70.5 in March from 70.8 in February. The pound hit a high of 203.89 against the dollar at about 10:05 a.m. Eastern Time today, meaning yesterday's three-month high of 203.93, which was up from the season's low of 202.18 in the morning, and as of now the pound buck pair is worth around 203.83. Ben Bernanke is speaking this afternoon, approximately 1 p.m. Eastern Time, but it looks as if President Bush has preempted Mr. Bernanke's speech. Some of the highlights from Mr. Bush's speech are that he believes that tax rebates will spur spending later this year. He also believes strongly that NAFTA is positive for the U.S., and he opposes spending billions to buy up empty homes. And he thinks that the Feds took strong action to add liquidity. That looks like it brings us up to date as to what's happening in the market today. So that would be the end of our news broadcast for today and for this week. We hope you've had a great trading week and the news is beneficial to your trading. Thank you for viewing, and we hope you have a great weekend. Happy pipping, and remember, we are traders helping traders succeed in Forex.